So Nick, as an IC professional, and like many of you in this room, you'll have faced lots of challenges when communicating and trying to engage with your workforce. Can you tell us a little bit about those challenges that you had before you launched this app?
One of the main challenges that we had was that, obviously it's a fast food restaurant. 99% of our employees are in restaurants working with their hands. They're an offline workforce. So out of the 6,000 employees that Lucy mentioned, only 150 there were in a head office. So everyone else hands-on, busy. Aside from being offline, it's also very hard for them they get a very local sense of what Burger King's like. So they only really experience what was going on in their own local restaurant. They have no real idea of what we as a company do with the ESG bits or the career opportunities and the wider picture of the business. So we had a platform before, but it had really low engagement rates, and we didn't have any insights to see what was good content or bad content. And as I said, we sort of struggled to really communicate our values, our business strategy, and also it's really important to us at Burger King if people can speak up if they are not happy with certain behaviours, and that's a business risk as well. And we want everyone to be safe and happy at work, and it was a problem to make sure that everyone knew where to go to for that support. Yeah. Another challenge of ours was high turnover. We're in hospitality, you do get very high turnover, so trying to address that and how we can reduce that is, it's not good for business, it's not good for our employees. So that was one of our other big challenges. And the last one, or the last big one, because there's an endless list of challenges that we're trying to battle, but really it's the access to information, also the volume of information that we have to give out as a business. So, for instance, when we launch a new burger, there might be sort of 10 or 15 different documents that go with that, from branding and merchandising and how to build it and all the allergen stuff. And before that was just all on email, and it might be in dribs and drabs. So that's not good for our teams to be operating on. No search functionality. It's endless. It's endless. I could just keep going on and on.
A lot of challenges. I'm sure a lot of people in this room, if you've got frontline workers as well, will completely resonate with that. And how did it really help you tackle those challenges then? Yeah,
it has massively transformed the way that we communicate. So, for instance, we've now been really able to shine through our people pillars of what we support and opportunities and fun as well. We've really brought those to life. So our teams across the country have got a real sense of what we're like as a business and our culture. Our new starters in particular, before, when they join the business, when they've been hired, great, you've got the job, there may have been a gap of nothing. There's no interaction there, the manager's busy doing the job and this person's left for a week or two, and actually we had a lot of people dropping out and never turning up to their first shift. So now what we've got is, we've now got a special page that our new starters receive. So the moment they've been hired, they get invited onto the UK Hub. They've got this special page that introduces them to their team, to their manager. Proper onboarding. FAQs on what might happen on their first day. They can even message our manager directly as well if they have any questions. So it's and actually as a result of that, we've seen a 40% reduction in our new starter dropout since March. So massive. Actually, labour turnover generally has gone down 10% for us as well across the business, which it was very good anyway. So to shave off another 10% has been massive. Timeline feature has been fantastic, so that we've got user-generated content, strong engagement. Exactly, now the content is from our employees and sharing all the good stuff, proper recognition, rather than just a faceless e-card. It's now, look, I'm here in my restaurant with my team and getting all these, all this likes. Push notifications has been brilliant, but having a native app has been really important to us. With our young generation, I think about 60% of our employees are sort of under 24, 25. So having it on an app has been key, and it's gained so much traction now that actually there is definitely a FOMO sort of element to it. That it sort of now sells itself. We don't even have to push people onto the platform.
It's just company language.
They just have to get onto it, and actually if they can't get on fast enough, they're like, please help me, get on there. Search functionality has been super good, helping people find exactly what they need really quickly, and being able to package up documents into one sort of pack, if you like. Well, as I said, product launch is about 15 or so documents. Now
lost in their inbox.
Lost in their inbox. Now it's all in one place. Boom, it's there. Everything you need, easy to find. So it's been
Good to hear. Good to hear. Now, obviously, there's a lot of solutions out there. What really motivated you to pick OpenGage?
I mean, I'm getting people knocking on the door all the time trying to sell me stuff, but ultimately, I think that the platform itself just really spoke for itself. We knew what our business challenges were, but we were really struggling to find someone that did that, and the platform was just exceptional. And that aside, the sales process was all. I mean that's why I'm here, I guess, because I sort of feel like I sort of almost owe it back because it was so good. It was so genuine, you had such a good understanding of what our needs were and how to address them. And I think in other scenarios that I've been in, that people will very happily and very quickly say, oh yeah, our platform does that, we can fix all these issues for you, but they're always behind this sort of hidden curtain, and you're never really quite sure until you sign the contract and you've spent a lot of money. Whereas Oak actually built us a platform before we'd even signed anything, before we'd paid, and we got a real sense of what it could look like, how it worked, and I was able to go in there and find out all the nuts and bolts and go, actually, this will totally deliver on what we need. So all credit to you guys,
So now you have that platform in place, how do you use it to communicate with those employees?
Yeah, we used to have to really rely on email before. That's all we had with our employees, which, who looks in their personal email box? We don't really send any emails now unless it's really sort of important stuff in terms and conditions, but actually now that's all in the hub now. So a lot of it is push notifications, so that it pops up and actually people can instantly think, actually that's not really for me, I'm not that fast. It's I think a bit less intrusive and it's less effort for people to see if it's relevant to them. But we do deliver our news through smart delivery now as well. So whenever we send out business updates or news, it is targeted directly at the people that it's relevant for. So hopefully, if it's not relevant for you, it's not clogging up and it's not taking up that mental capacity of something else to read. So you're only getting it if it's relevant for you. And it's a great visual platform. We push out a lot more video content now, and we're trying to get a bit braver of being on video and doing more video content, which goes down really well too. And our engagement has been massively boosted.
Brilliant. You've mentioned a couple of points there, like personalised news and the video content, but what other ways do you use to really make sure that message really resonates with the employees?
Going back to sort of one of our first points about the challenges, that our employees are really time poor. So we try and keep it short, sweet, to the point, simple, but also looking aesthetically nice, nice to look at. So we're not a law firm or a bank or anything, we can be a bit more informal, so we throw in a few emojis or a few GIFs here and there and videos, but it's the branding element is so easy. Some of our content, we still use PDFs sometimes in the business, but you have to make sure that the PDF only looks as good as the person that's making it, whereas on the hub, I mean, it's idiot proof, the fonts and the colours are all there already, and it's very, very easy. But a lot of our employees also don't speak English as a first language, so making sure that they can translate it if they want to is key, and that's only really come about with Oak, and so I think it's 127 languages you guys can do. So at the click of a button, they can translate anything.
Personalise it to what they need,
Absolutely, So it's been a bit of a game changer.
And can you give us some details on how the hub has really impacted the business?
I talked earlier about the onboarding process for our new starters and how that's polished it up, and so we've had a 40% improvement in our new starter dropouts. There's a few automated messages that now pop up as part of their onboarding, so we can make sure that all of our new starters get a really good, consistent welcome to the company. So they're all being informed about the benefits and how they need to speak up and all these sort of things, which sometimes, if you're a busy restaurant manager, you might forget to do those in the heat of the moment. So turnover in our new restaurants actually has gone from 123% turnover, which some of you might go, but actually in hospitality, over 100% is still fairly common, but it's gone from 123% in February down to now 91%.
Really good result,
and that's just in our new restaurants, So that's been really good. But it's helped us to drive, I think, business efficiency and profitability as well. So we're obviously we're a burger restaurant at the end of the day. We do operate on slim margins, and so we've been able to really communicate the importance of parts of our business to help drive business performance, but in a fun and engaging way as well.
Some really key impacts there.
Yeah, and just spreading that message across 6,000 people rather than trying to rely on some sort of cascade system, which can be quite tricky. So,
exactly.
and I mean, lastly, it's not only is it boosted our employee engagement considerably, but it's also giving managers more time back with people on the floor. So because we've got slicker processes, because it's easy to find stuff, we're spending less time trying to, do other things, tied up in admin, so they can spend more time with their teams on the floor, which is
doing the important things for their job.
Yeah.
And in terms of that business impact, on the flip side, how has it really impacted the employees' day-to-day business? You've mentioned a bit about the managers there. What about those other employees in that restaurant, on that shop floor?
Yeah, I think just, it just made things a lot easier. For us. We've moved a lot of our internal processes into Oak now, so that a manager, if they were having to do like a return to work thing, they might have had to print out a form and fill it all out and sign it and scan it and all this rubbish, whereas now they can just do a quick online form and it all comes into us, and also the integrity of the data is there. The employee numbers are right because they're all being pre-populated, the names are right, so we don't have to do all that horrible work. But it's just easy to find things really, and it's a greater awareness of, I think all of our employees have a greater awareness of what's going on in the business that is really good stuff, which they might not have known about. So
In terms of, I think we get a lot of feedback from frontline and deskless workers being maybe tricky to engage with and really getting that strong engagement from those type of workers. What kind of tactics do you use to really up that engagement from them?
Yeah, it's tough, and we're still always learning. I think we've now managed to gain really good traction with the platform, that we've sort of got that FOMO element now, which is really good. But we still rely on some of the old school methods of posters, and a crazy person in IT has actually given me the permission to be able to change every single person's screensaver in the business as well, which is brilliant. So I love. So I can, at the touch of a button, I can use those tools, posters and screensavers, to direct people onto the hub.
Pull them in.
To pull them in, and then actually once you've got them, they start to get a bit hooked on it, because it does have that social media feel, but in a very positive way.
So they're getting something out of it.
They're getting something out of it. Yeah, they're enjoying being on there, seeing what others are up to. That's been really key.
You've mentioned some really positive results. Can you give us a bit of an insight into some more positive results you've seen?
Yeah, we talked about turnover a few times. We have seen across the business, we've seen a 10% reduction in our turnover since March, which is actually really impressive, because thankfully we're doing well within the business anyway. Within the industry, we do have a low turnover, but to shave off another 10% in only 6 months. And it's a 12-month average turnover as well, so it's not easy to sway those numbers. There was a 32% reduction in our new restaurant opening turnover. The 40% improvement that we talked about in our non-starter dropout, which is really big for us. I think there was an article recently online about the amount of people that just don't rock up for their first day, and the amount of time that those managers have put into the recruitment process. It's such a waste of time. So, but we've seen in our engagement surveys that there's much greater awareness of our Speak Up initiative and BK for Good, which is our ESG. So I think there's just general greater awareness of everything that's going on in the business, and we're seeing that in the results from our engagement surveys.
Really great results there, some really strong ROIs as well. And what's next for Baking then?
What's next? Well, I mean, I'm trying my best to, there's always a few updates coming regularly from Oak with new enhancements and things. So wherever I can, I'm always trying to sort of see, what's coming up? How can I use that?
How can you bring that in?
How can I use that to the best advantage with the business? But we are reshaping how we do our weekly comms at the moment. Something that I sort of inherited, which I hate, but I am now trying to. It's a very sort of old school PDF that is, and so now I'm in the background working with the Oak team and the powers that Oak has to, let's take it from this non-mobile responsive, horrible, boring, disengaging PDF to a much easier way of delivering news. That's one thing. And we're also in the middle of relaunching or sort of recommunicating our business strategy as well. So we've gone through a lot of growth in the last 5 or 6 years, from 70 restaurants that we owned and operated when I joined 5 years ago to now 300 that we own and operate through acquisitions and things. So you can imagine that when you've got all these companies that you've acquired together, they're all run in different ways sometimes. So now we're really trying to sort of set that foundation again, and yeah, this will be pretty instrumental to that.
I think we've got time for some questions, hopefully.
Yes.
Like, what specific features on your intranet, like content features and things, have like proved popular in launching?
The main timeline for, if we're talking about the majority of our population, is the main timeline on our homepage, where people are posting their own content and sharing photos of promotions and
Like two-way engagement, isn't it?
Yeah. That's one of the most engaging bits. But also for our day-to-day people that are using it for work rather than more of the social side of stuff, the document library is pretty phenomenal. And how it can hold all those documents in such a nice, easy way and manage them that's really highly utilised. And then I think those two, which doesn't sound that. Documents don't sound that interesting, but if you're the person that's having to share them within the business, there's a lot less emails coming to me and others in the business saying, "Where's this? Where do I find it?"
Exactly. To a frontline worker, I think trying to find a document really easily and quickly for them is going to be really important.
Yeah.
Or being able to just chat to someone really quickly, or see what other people are talking about and share ideas and having a place to go to.
Yeah.
Again, two important aspects for a frontline worker, and having somewhere where they want to go, and it's easy for them to do that is going to be really important.
Yeah, access to policies, whether it's when you're on the verge of going on maternity leave or paternity leave.
Exactly, yeah.
It's always a bit awkward maybe asking your manager about it. It can be. So I want to go and find a policy myself, or and also it's a business risk thing. Documents that if people are using documents that are on their hard drive they saved down 2 years ago, particularly things like right to work and stuff like that, we want to make sure that people are on the current stuff.
How do you ensure quality assurance on the site?
At the moment I pretty much do most of the content management from the company side of things, but we're upskilling others in the business to do the same. If we're talking about user-generated content, I think there was a few nervous bums in seats when we first did it, but we have to remember that the vast majority of our employees are awesome people, and actually we press the button and it's been really, really great, and that's definitely the key driver for us with the engagement of user-generated content.
Nick and Lucy, thank you very much for